Uh, Hi, good morning. My name is Shawn Harper, as mentioned, 7-year professional football player, motivational speaker, life coach. Great introduction. Thank you for the introduction. So happy to be here to have a chance to invest. Now, I love stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estate. Investing is great, but the greatest investment I found was people. Because when you invest in people, it has the potential of reaping generations of dividends. Now, you might be thinking, hey, this guy played the NFL, and he's an author, he's a speaker, but, he must have had it, set his entire life, have, the golden spoon or the silver spoon in his mouth with, all-American football player in high school and first team and this and all the accolades, and nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing, I promise you, is further from the truth. And in fact, I want to open up with a story that I usually talk about when I do school assemblies and I'm speaking to youth. Because what's so amazing is that, our youth today, you guys have so much power, potential, and purpose. But oftentimes we allow something on the outside. We allow external circumstances that kind of encapsulate or to stop or to break or to short circuit the destiny that's in your life. And a perfect illustration of that is this story of a father bringing his son to the zoo for the first time. And at the zoo, this kid has seen all the animals, the giraffe, the parakeet, the tiger, and then he sees it. He sees this humongous elephant, but he notices the elephant's being held by a small chain or a rope. And he looks up at his father. He's like, Dad, how is it that this 12,000-pound elephant is being shackled by this small chain? This elephant, look, Dad, it says it weighs 12,000 pounds. But yet this small chain is holding that elephant. And the father seeing or sensing the confusion and the confliction in his son's mind and his eyes, and he sets him down and begins to tell him the story. He said, son, when the elephant was just a baby, they tied a humongous chain to its right ankle. And that baby elephant would pull and pull and pull for days, weeks, months, and years, wanting to break free, wanting to experience freedom. It would pull and pull and pull until one day it says to himself, not only can I not break the chain today, I will never be able to break these chains. Years later, son, they'll take that fully grown 12,000-pound elephant, now that it's an adult. And when it begins to walk and everyone's watching in the zoo or the circus or even on TV and it feels that tongue, not of a massive chain, but that of a small chain. That same 12,000-pound elephant could snap 100 of these. But it was taught, it was conditioned, it was socialized when it was younger. The one thing I can never do is break these chains. The one thing I can never do is achieve. The one thing I can never do is to be successful or be an influential leader or a great leader. Why? Because I was told and I believed when I was younger that I couldn't do it then. So what makes you think I can do it now? I love that story because it's my story. I remember standing in the second grade line, the first day of school in the second grade. Man, I was so happy to be in the second grade. 3 or 4 of my friends were all sitting there, we're talking, and the big number 2 for the second grade. The teacher's watching me, and she's looking at me. And she goes over, she talks to the principal, the leader of the school. And the principal looks at me, and she nods her head, and I'm watching at the corner of my eye. I'm watching all this happen, and the teacher and the principal walks over, and the teacher taps me on my shoulder, and she grabs my left hand and she pulls me back into the first grade line. And my friends from the second grade are laughing now. They were laughing with me. Now they're laughing at me. I said at first they were laughing with me, but now they're laughing at me. Shawn, you failed. Shawn, you're stupid. Shawn, you're dumb. Shawn, you can never achieve. My parents don't want me hanging out with you because they think that, if I hang out with someone that's not as smart as me, that it would pull me back. And I felt so bad. I wanted to give up. And I was so angry. I still remember that. And by the time I was in the 5th grade, about 3 or 4 years later, I'm struggling in class. And the teacher calls me to the board, and everyone's real quiet. And I'm walking to the front of the room, and she gives me a math problem, and I couldn't figure it out. They laughed. A spelling problem a week later, couldn't figure it out. They laughed. They asked me to read from the book, and I would read, and I would stutter because I stuttered my entire life. I could not complete a sentence till college. They would laugh. I started to become very angry and very bitter. I wanted to give up. I was kicked out of 2 schools because of disciplinary issues. I'm one of 6 kids. My mom used to, scrub floors just to earn a living. And I went all the way through. Last day of school, my GPA is 1.62. Out of 154 seniors to graduate, my academic ranking was 154. You might think, well, you have athleticism, football, right? You're in the NFL. Listen, I wasn't even honorable mention on conference. I was sitting in the back of the room, and the guys would get all their awards, all state, all city, all intergalactic universe, all the, best of the best. And I would be in the back, and my head would be down, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't even invite my parents to the banquet. Everyone got their trophies. Their moms and dads are around us in the back. But underneath all of that anger, underneath all that depression, underneath all of that rejection, and let me just stop right there. Sometimes rejection is protection. Underneath all of the laughter and people just making fun, there was a dream nestled deep inside of me. And in each and every one of you, I don't care where you're at. I don't care what's going on with your life right now. There is a dream. There's a call, there's a purpose, and there's a destiny. And your dream is like a seed. Listen, you can often count the number of seeds in an orange, but you never can count the number of oranges in the seed. I'll say it again. You can often count the number of seeds in an orange, but you can never count the number of oranges in the seed. The dream is so powerful. There's nothing outside of love and faith as powerful or more powerful than the dream. It eclipses time. The dream is greater than all forms or all laws of the universe. The dream is greater than time itself, as I just mentioned. The dream is greater than all the principles. There is nothing more powerful than the dream outside of God and faith. The dream. Never allow life to steal, manipulate, alter, berate the dream that is in you. Now listen, your dream is for you or it's meant to pass through you. And I'm so blessed to be here. Just let me just stop. Some of the founders of this amazing organization, they had a dream, but the dream wasn't for them. The dream was meant to pass through them. The counselors, people who are helping you out, they're passing the dream through them unto you. But it should never be all about you. Because the dream, you carry it from generation to generation, from group to group. But anyway, I'm sitting there on the last day of school, and the phone rings. It's a junior college, a 2-year school in Mason City, Iowa. And the coach says, Shawn, we want you to come to Mason City, Iowa to play football right now. I'm from I don't know how I can explain this, I'm from the hood. I'm from the south side of Columbus, Ohio. Socioeconomic settings, however you want to say it. It was po. I wasn't poor, I was po. Big difference between poor and po, po, And here I am going to the cornfields of Mason City, Iowa. And at first I hung up. I said, Coach, no, thank you. I hung up. We want you to come to Iowa to play football. I hung up. Why does he want me? What is it that he or she sees in me? But that dream began to speak. And I picked up the phone. I said, Coach, I'll come. No scholarship, nothing. And I went up to that junior college the first year. And the first year at that junior college, I sat the bench the entire season, not one documented play. And going into the second season, it was all the same because I'm looking to be successful. And, life teaches you success and wants you to become successful. But I really don't believe in that. I believe that life and in life that you are created to win. There's a difference between success and winning. One day, if I have a chance to really share that, I'll break it down. Going back to that junior college for the second season, I said, you know what? There's no way that I'll be successful, but I will win. And I will find a way to win, because in life, there's always a way to win. There's always a way to win in life. And I went back to that junior college, and there was 2 or 3 people watching TV, or 4 guys in the room. They were all watching TV. And I jumped up in the middle of the football game because we're watching football. And I said, man, I've always wanted to play Division I of NFL football. It's called a Freudian slip. And the guys looked at me, and one by one, and said, Shawn, you'll never make it. Shawn, you're not strong enough. Shawn, you're not quick enough. Shawn, you're not fast enough. Rule number 1 to win in life: never allow people to create your world, because they'll always create it too small. Never allow people to define your world, because they'll always design it and define it for you too small. Very few people are able to push you to the next level and encourage you to the next level. And listen, if you find an organization like this one, or friends that are willing to push you and encourage you to the next level, those are the people that you hang around with. I walked out to the practice field. I was so angry. I looked up at the sky. I said, all I have is a dream. And I went back to my dorm room, and I wrote down a sheet of paper. I wrote down 3 letters in a sheet of paper: NFL. And every day I woke up and said, NFL, that's where I'm going. Every night before I went to sleep, I said, NFL, that's where I'm going. But I still felt the chains. I still felt like giving up. In fact, one day I called my mom. I said, Mom, I quit. Mom, I give up. Has anyone ever felt like that before? You don't have to raise your hand, but I promise you. I said, Mom, I quit. And my mom encouraged me. She was one of those dream makers, right? And I went back and I said, you know what? If I'm going to break these chains, it's going to start with me. And so the first thing I did, number 1, is that I changed my identity. I changed my identity. I said, no one else is going to believe in me. I'm going to believe in me. I'm a world changer. I'm a dominator. I pulled out another sheet of paper and I wrote my life down. I said, I am this, I am that. This is where I'm going. I am strong. I am confident. And I read it every single day. This is where I'm going every single day. This is my life every single day. You see, when you write the vision down and when you make it plain, when you write who you are every single day, you move from being a thermometer and you transform yourself into a thermostat. You set the temperature. You don't react to the temperature. I am going to the next level, and I am going to the NFL. I have shifted and I have changed my identity. And when they said, Shawn, you're lazy, you know what I said? I said, says who? Says you. Shawn, you're stupid? Says who? Says you. And I had this little crazy game I would always play. It's like, says who? You know, I would like kind of raise my voice. And, you know, you're not going to make it, says who? Who are you? Yeah, I'm going to make it. I believe in myself. That's the first thing you have to shift, is your identity, because a life illuminates from who you are, not what you do, but from who you are. Sometimes we hide behind what we do, but who are you? I'm a winner. I'm born to win. It's number 1. Number 2 is I picked up that dream. I picked up the dream to go to the NFL, and I focused on it every single day. And in the intro, I moved out of creation and I moved into something much, much, much more powerful, and that's manifestation. And I began to practice before practice, during practice, after practice, every single day, focusing on my dream, focusing where I'm going. Every single day, I'm going to the NFL. From the junior college, I went off to 4-year school, Indiana University, on a full scholarship. And people are looking at me like, how did he get here? I practiced every single day. You know, I schmoozed all the coaches, and he is coming in out of nowhere, and he's taking my position. Draft day in the NFL, I'm 3rd pick in the 4th round. Mel Kiper, I mean, these scouts are like, where did this guy come from? And I blocked for, the amazing success. But here's the question. What would have happened had I listened to my friends when they said, Shawn, you'll never make it. You're not strong enough. You're not quick enough. You're not fast enough? Where would I be? What would have happened when I called my mom? I said, Mom, I quit. What would have happened if she said, Shawn, come home? Where would I be? It's hard. Leadership is hard. Going for your goals and going for the dreams is hard because at one certain point in time, you're going to have to stand against everyone to achieve your dreams. It's it's amazing because when we are young, they reject you for being different. But when you're older, they celebrate you for being different. You got to fight through that process. What would have happened when I was in high school and the high school coach kicked me off the football team? He stopped practice and he said, Shawn Harper, get off my field. And he said, as I was walking, you're lazy. And I went to the dorm room, to the locker room. I threw down my helmet. I threw down the shoulder pads. I was so angry. I said, my mom's going to write a letter. I was angry. But that dream against I put back on the shoulder pads. I put back on the helmet. And I walked out to the football field. The coach is going through his drills. And I went from drill to drill with the coach. He ran to the next drill. I ran my big butt to the next drill. He ran this way. I ran over there. I stood right next to him. I stood right next to him the whole time. And finally, he stops practice again. And he turns and yells at me. He says, Shawn Harper, what do you want? I told you to get off my field. I said, Coach, you can't make me quit. And he backed up. And under his breath, he said, Harper, get in line. What would have happened? What would have happened had I jumped on the activity bus and went home early? I had the best excuse. Hey, coach kicked me off the team. It's his fault. I'm the victim. Next thing you have to do, setting this up, is you have to learn to get back on the bike. Leaders, world changers, innovators, listen to me. I'm going to say something it cuts against the fabric of all cultures. Failure is your friend. Failure is your friend. We're taught that failure, man, you can't fail. Parents put so much pressure on us. Hey, you have to do this. Listen, failure is the teacher of life. I'll prove it to you. Google it. The average millionaire has filed for bankruptcy 3.4 or 5 times. The businesses that they started have failed. I can run names of people that you admire that is marred with failure. Walt Disney, Michael Dale. I can run for days talking about their failure, Thomas Edison. Failure after failure after failure. Life teaches you through failure. Each and every one of you, you know how to walk, right? How did you learn how to walk? You learned how to walk when you was a kid because you kept falling down. And they said, get back up. You can do it, little Johnny. You can do it, little Sam. Whatever your name is, get back up. And you kept walking and you fell. How did you learn how to ride a bike? You got on the bike and you started riding the bike. And guess what? You fell. You're like, I don't want to ride the bike. My knees are scratched. I hate this stupid bike. Get back up. You get back up. You get back on that bike. Persistence through resistance is the secret. But some of us, we get caught in the process. The fear of failure. And so I study stocks. I study day trading. I do long-term trading. I do investing. I've been studying it for years. And there's a certain indicator called MACD. And so it's all about conversions, diversions. But so at the top line is your fear. At the bottom line is your dream. Now, what the secret is that you have to decrease the fear, but increase your dream. And the dream breaches your fear. Your calling breaches your fear and your comfort zone. And that's when you move. Because the same thing that's holding you down becomes the same energy that's propelling you forward. Had I listened to the coach, had I listened to my friends, had I listened to the naysayers, had I not got back on the bike, I would not be here today. Listen to me. I stuttered my entire life. I'm an international motivational speaker. I left high school with a 1.62 cumulative GPA, 9 on my ACT. I'm a double major graduate from the IU Bloomington with postgraduate studies. I own 2 companies. It's in you. It's in you. Along with your identity, along with the dream and the vision, along with determination. The last thing I want to encourage you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is you got to rip the script. Rip the script. You see, in everyone's life right now, there's a script. And you can never grow past your script. The first introduction to the script is the name of the movie. You can never grow past your name. That's why oftentimes in faith and with God, when he wants to do something great, he always changes your name. Some of us, our names are failure. Some of us, our names are stupid. Some of us are, listen, breaking the chains, changing the names. Change the name. The name dictates the script. The script dictates the actors and actresses in your life. And there's your movie. There's your movie. Ladies and gentlemen, along with getting back on the bike, along with the identity, along all of that, you got to deal with the name and the script, then the actors and actresses that are around you, and then the plot. So I still love to rip things and break people. Not really the game show. So I had this phone book. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take this phone book in my hand, and under 20 seconds, I'm going to rip this phone book right down the middle. I'm good at sitting down because, because I don't want to jump up and try to get repositioned and all of that stuff. So I'm going to rip these 2 books, but I want this to represent the script in your life. Whether the script is failure, whether the script is losing, whether the script is average, whether the script is you're stupid or you're not like your friends or look, I understand that. Never allow people to create your world because they'll always create it too small. So the first thing or the most important thing that we're going to do right now is we're going to rip the script. So I want everyone that can hear me to raise one hand in the air right now. And I want you to put any and everything that is stopping you, any every word that you've spoken over yourself, the words I'm a loser, the words I'm a failure, the words I'm stupid, the words I'm dumb, the words, all of the words, man. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you should eat the fruit thereof. And I want you to put it in this book. So on the count of 3, I don't care where you are. On the count of 3, I want you to throw it into this book as hard as you can. Take it, take the word, ball it up tight. And on the count of 3, throw it into this book. I will catch it. I have skills, even virtually. I promise I'll catch every single one of them. You guys ready? Now, there could be a couple of you that your hand isn't up. And I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm like, I just feel it. And the reason why your hand's not up is because you're choosing the old script. You're choosing that. Or there's something in you saying, hey, this is garbage. This is not going to work. This is fluff. Man, I'm sick of it. Listen, ask yourself, where's that voice coming from? Number 1. And number 2, yeah, this is a tall bill. Everyone's not going to play in the NFL. I understand that. But if you can muster it up and you can throw it, say to yourself, maybe, possible. Because I was that kid. This is stupid in high school. I mean, it's stupid. I'm not listening to the teacher. This is stupid. The same person who struggled all in high school is the same guy who played in the NFL. The same person who struggled in academics is the same person who went to Indiana. Indiana's a tough college, man. The same person. What was the difference? So get your courage up. If it's 1%, that's all I need. Put it in your hand. You ready? Throw it into this book on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, throw it. I got it. All right. I'm going to go for it. Sitting down, which is tough. As I begin, you're going to say, rip my book. Rip my book. Over and over again. And I'm going to give it my best. Because one thing I've learned is this. If you live in the past, you'll die in the present. Get behind me. Give me a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rip my book. Rip my book.
Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book.
Come on, help me out. Come on.
Rip my book. Rip my book. Rip my book.
Woo. Y'all got me fired up. Y'all got me fired up. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Where's that book at? Here it is. It's one of them. It's 2 of them. It's it. Now, listen. When your mind reminds you of the past, when your mind reminds you of the failure, and it's going to remind you, like within 5 minutes, I want you to say this. Say the word stop. You say stop. And when you say stop, your mind can't process past that word. If your mind's bombarded, stop. And then say, it's in the book. Stop. You're stupid, stop. It's in the book. And then you say, this is where you're going. This is who you are in real time. Thank you. You guys have been an amazing audience. And you know what I want to do? I want to introduce my wife. Oh, she's like really embarrassed right now. I love to embarrass her. This is my queen right here. And come on, baby. She's like, yeah, come on, baby. Listen, this is my queen. Now, listen. I graduated last in my class with a 1.62 accumulative GPA. She was the valedictorian, same year, same class. She is a genius, a real, really real genius for real. And the amazing thing about this is that, wow, God doesn't compare, God doesn't compete, God completes. And so we just kind of like balances each other out. We drive each other crazy because she's really organized and structured and all. Thank you. You guys have been a wonderful audience. Do we have any questions at all? I will answer them, but I must warn you that I'm not a PC or politically correct individual. But if you have any questions, let's go for it.
So yes, we just did post, to get some questions. And first off, Mr. Harper, we want to thank you so much for giving us, your energy, your physical energy, and your time. And just like you said, and you also showed us, with the ripping of the script, but not only just like the book, but also in our lives. There's a lot of scripts and labels that are placed on our lives, but you really taught us that we that's really not important. We have to overcome that and really look, at our dreams and be able to move past that. So, really we, our students have gleaned a lot of wisdom from your speech today. So we are really thankful, that you, were able to come here. And I know that we have a lot of questions that are coming in. So let's see. We're gonna. So Jen Chan, if we can unmute her, she would like to ask a question.
Sure. Well, I can't. You guys do it. Hi. I can't hear.
Okay. I think I got it. Hi, good morning, Mr. Harper. Thank you so much
Good
for
morning.
sharing your inspirational story with all of us today. As I was listening, really a lot of things you say come so in line with a lot of things that I listen to as I'm volunteering inside of church or as I'm interacting with different young adults. One question that came to mind as I'm listening to your personal story is if you could share with us a word of God that has held on to you during your most difficult times. I'm sure like there were many challenges even after your time with the NFL. So maybe challenges with family or with work. That would be something that I feel would benefit a lot of us because I know me personally, I'm still struggling with my parents. Sometimes it's difficult, it's a challenge to speak with them. But in the future, when I eventually do get married, relationship issues or maybe with children, and even career paths, what are some words of God that had really caught your heart and gave you strength through those challenges in your life? Thank you.
Yeah, I believe, great question. And first, let me just say that we will all struggle. And I don't know where that notion has come to where, your life as a believer is supposed to be pie in the sky. That flies in the face of so many scriptures are in the Bible. It talks about struggles. It talks about persecution. And even if you look at people that were in the Bible, and you look at the apostles, all except for one, I believe, was executed. I mean, this is a brave walk. And one of the bravest areas of this walk and the most courageous areas, as I mentioned, when your belief or your energy passes through your fear, that X is courage, is being able to trust in the Lord. And my favorite scripture is trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding, and always acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Being able to just say, God, I trust you. What is it that you want me to do? Get that word from God, listen, and to be able to trust him in the process. And oftentimes, most of the time, the process, the styles, the techniques, and the strategies are just totally different than the worldly or the actual world's strategy. It's like, this is what I want you to sell your business. I'm like, not when it's bringing in this profit margin. Maybe I'll become a half partner, or I want you to move, or I want you to forgive this person. Like, no, I'm not going to forgive. I want you to ask for forgiveness. I want you to sow a seed. This is really tough because often it goes in the exact opposite of what the world would actually tell you to do. But he's faithful. He's faithful in the process. So being able to trust him in the rejection, trust him in the pain, trust him in the abandonment, that has saved me so many times. That is my life scripture.
Okay, next, we'd like to invite Julia to pose her question for you.
Hi, so you started from the bottom and then you made it to the NFL and then you became a motivational speaker. So I was wondering what your next big dream is from here on out.
Well, often what I talk about is what I'm going through, and I'm being challenged, and it's I believe that the Lord wants me to move into a bit more radical form. I believe wholeheartedly that there's a unique mission that he has for me. And it's going to be very uncomfortable, and it's going to be challenging. And one of the reasons why it's going to be challenging is because there's still a part of me, because I'm human, but there's still a part of me. It's like, how is this going to work? You know? And so I'm building up my faith and I'm building up my trust to be able to take that step as well. And that's the amazing thing about being a believer, is that you never leave the weight room. You know, I could look at someone else who's maybe lifting up 100 pounds. I'm like, I could do that. But then I look to the left and there's somebody who's, you know, bench pressing 600 pounds. I can't do that. And so in the weight room, you're always stretching, you're always growing, and he's always taking you to higher levels. And the moment, listen to me, the moment that you feel that you've arrived in the weight room, you begin to die. You're always being stretched. And so he's asking you, and he's been pushing you to a higher level of commitment and a higher level of just, you know, being all in with him. And so I'm kind of leaning towards that. I'm like I'm getting ready to jump rope. I'm like, okay, God, let's go for it. Let's do this radical thing. So that is about to happen, to where I could maybe move my business interest to the side and maybe just invest in the world, build orphanages, and, you know, just really just help people, to be short a philanthropist.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Shawn. So this time we'll have Tyla Morris give her question.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Harper. My question is, despite the odds put in a way to divert your dream, or to say that you're not on the right path, to say you're not supposed to be this or you're not supposed to be that, but you're supposed to do something else in life?
It was really hard for me to hear the complete question because you're going in and out. Is there a way that you could repeat that?
So she put that in the chat box. I'll kind of reiterate what she
Okay.
said. She said, despite the challenges, have you ever thought this was the wrong road? Like you were supposed to do something else in life? And when you face those, that kind of dilemma, you know, how you were able to kind of overcome that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I've faced that a lot, but I have a different perspective now, and the perspective is that life is like a game, and you don't have to win all 4 quarters to win the game. Yeah, you know, most people are knocked off course, but as long as you can breathe, then you're still in the game. And the great thing about God is, like, you know, he has like this GPS in the sky, right? And the moment you make a mistake, we make mistakes every day. The moment we go on the wrong career path, tons. It's almost as if, you know, he doesn't really condemn. He just basically says, you know, recalculating. You know, it's like the GPS is like, change course, make a left here. So no matter where you're at, I can still lead you to the path to give me glory. And I will give you the satisfaction of that. So that to me is amazing. I know I've made some crazy detours, but you know what? He will find you where you're at, and he'll lead you back to his purpose.
Great. So we will have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. So Hyun Han, if you'd like to unmute and ask away your question.
Hi, Mr. Harper. great to meet you and listen to your
Yeah.
story and listen to your talk. I am raising 3 teenage children.
Mm.
So my kids also, they have a hard time. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do in my future. So they are struggling to find out their dreams. And so do you have any suggestions for those kids?
Yeah. So instead of having the suggestion for the kids, I would like to have a suggestion for you. And my suggestion for you is number one, speak life. It might not be, I mean, most people struggle as teenagers, what they want to do, where they want to go, how they're being led. It's all, listen, if I could pull the stats on how many kids in college change their major after the second year, it is just crazy. Okay. But my encouragement for you is to speak life into your kids, speak into their soul. As the father, as the parent, you have this amazing ability to speak into the soul. You are a dominator. You are a world changer. And then also give them space. Make the house, make your environment a safe place to grow. I mentioned earlier that there's a seed in each and every person, but one of the elements of having a great harvest is that you have to have good soil. You have to have good soil. It, and the pH has to be just right for that plant to grow the way that it's supposed to grow, right? Too much acid, it won't grow too much. And so your job is to create that environment of nurturing, encouragement, and safety. So that, you know what, I can talk to my parents about anything. Yes, he's not going to agree. He's not supposed to agree with anything. However, it's a safe place because they will talk and they will express. And if they don't express at home, they're going to express somewhere else. I had to back up off my son because, I'm a football player and my son's going to, but guess what? That might not be what God wants for him. So can I create a space for him to move into what God has called? And that is now my job. And that is my switch. It's like, talk to me. I'm here. Let's get it out. So, yeah.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining and listening to Mr. Harper's inspirational story. From wherever you guys are, I hope that you can give him a round of applause. I know it takes a lot of energy and effort and time for this, and we thank you so much for being here with us. And we hope that we can meet you in the future. After this Corona is over, we can meet you in person and be able to cheer you on as you rip the script for us. So we're very thankful for having you here, and so I hope our students can move on to our next program. But thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.